Hi guys, and welcome to this video on unit testing with XUnit, and in this one we'll be going over data-driven testing. Now, data-driven testing is the same as a normal test, but with the difference that your input and output data will come from a different source, such as a CSV file. This isn't a new concept. It was done in things like MS Test and things like that, where you would specify resource files, but they would be complex to manage and difficult to understand. XUnit allows you to do this in a simple way using a theory attribute. Now, the theory attribute couples with either an inline data attribute, a class data attribute, or a member data attribute. And in this video, we'll be going over inline data as it's the most commonly used. Essentially how it works is you specify parameters that match the signature of your function, and we can start this really quickly by writing a function that will add two numbers together. So we'll create, and we'll just do it in our test class because it's easier, it makes more sense. So we'll create a private integer, we'll call it add numbers, and it will accept an integer number a, letter a, and an integer of b, and then we will just return a plus b. Very simple. It's going to tell me I can make it static, and that is true. Okay, now that this is done, it's very simple, we'll start writing our tests. And I'll show you first of all how you would do it normally, and then we'll see how we can improve that using data-driven development. So normally you'll end up with a function that looks something like this, and you can have a test name. It's like when adding 5 and 5 should return 10. And then we can just do here, and we can say if our result is equal to add numbers and 5, 5. And then we want to assert that 10 is the result. And we can run this and it will obviously pass. And say we wanted to do this a few times, so we want to test more numbers. Maybe we want to test 50 and 500, and that should return 550, and we pass that into there and into here, and you'll see quite quickly that this is getting a little bit tedious. And if we had a lot of these to do, it'd be a lot of copy and pasting for the exact same test. And this is where theory attributes come in. Essentially what we can do is, rather than saying fact, we can specify a theory. Now a theory needs to work, as I said, with either member data, class data, or inline data. And we're going to use inline data. It's the most common, but there is a couple of very good blogs on the class data and member data, and if you have a good Google, you'll find them and find what they should be used for. In here, what we're going to do is we're going to pass in our parameters. So we're going to pass in 5 and 5, and we're going to specify our return value of 10. Now, immediately, this is complaining because it's saying there's no method parameter for this. Essentially, it can't find a method that matches it, but we can add its parameters. So we can say int a, int b, and int return value. Now this isn't complaining anymore, and rather than having 5 and 5 in here, we can have a and b, and we expect that to be the return value. Now if we run this, it will absolutely work. And if we want to add more, we can just add more of these values. So let's do 1 and 1. Let's do 50 and 500 is 550, and let's go 212 plus 202, which is 414. My maths is failing me. And the test name is obviously rubbish now, so we'll change that to say when adding two numbers should output correct result. And if we run this, we'll see that although it's only got one thing, one name, it's got 4 tests underneath it, and it is running them all. So if we were to change this and change this to 211 and run them, it will still run every other one, but it will tell you when it fails, and it'll tell you exactly which one fails. So when the A is 211 and B is 202 and the return value is 404, this isn't correct. And yeah, that's going to be the end of this video. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers, guys.